guys, welcome back to my channel, Simone here, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 8. So from the title of this video you can see that this is my video on how to read more. Now I feel like I read quite a lot of books. I generally average between like 10 to 13 in a month, and then I think a couple of months this year I actually ended up on like 15, which is amazing. And I kind of have a few tips for how I read more and how maybe you could get some more reading into your life if you want to read more. So I'm going to go through my list now. So my first tip is to set aside a specific time of the day that you're going to read for. Now I don't always do this because I generally can find time, but if I'm working, I tend to be working 8 till 6, and so I can't really read around, like I can't read throughout the day, if that makes sense, in different bits. So what I do tend to do is I will set aside like 7 to 8 as my reading time, and that will be the hour that I will always read for. No matter what I'm doing, I will always read at that point, because that just means then I have a specific amount of time. I know that I need to get everything else done before then, or I'm going to do it after that, and I just know that that's going to be a reading time and I won't be interrupted in that time, because I know and I can tell other people like that's when I'm going to read, so don't interrupt me. So that is my kind of tip of doing that, just to make sure that if you don't if you can't read at any point throughout the day, just make sure that you have that specific time. It might be the hour before you go to bed, it might be the first thing in the morning when you get up, depending on what type of reader you are, but that's just how I personally do it. My second tip is to use Goodreads. I know some people don't like Goodreads. I personally love it, and I track my reading on it, and I feel like it motivates me, because at the beginning of the year you can set up a target. So my goal was 100 books for the year, which I ended up doing in October, which was amazing. But basically it will then tell you how far ahead you are or how far behind, and I know some people find that that's too much pressure. I personally really like it. I like that it tells me like I'm 4 books ahead, which makes me feel good, or if it says you're 2 books behind, I know I need to get reading and yeah, catch up. This is very specific to me, but sharing it on my booktube channel is another thing that really helps me to read more, because I like to think to myself, okay, at the end of the month, if I feel like, for me, like if I read like 5 books in a month, that's not very much for me. I know some people that's amazing, and it is, but me personally, I like to, like I said, I tend to read like 10 to 12 books a month. And so if I know that I'm going to be sharing my wrap up at the end of the month, I don't want to be like, oh, I've read like 2 books this month. I want to be able to share that, so that motivates me as well and gets me to read more. Another thing that's really helpful is to take a book with you wherever you go. I find that I personally can't read in a car because I get really car sick, but if I'm on a train I'm fine. So if I go on a train anywhere, I'll take a book. If I'm going to meet somebody for coffee, and I might leave and be there a little bit early so I can sit for half an hour before they get there, which I think that's a helpful thing to do. It's finding those little moments and little pockets of time to read. I also will, for example, if I'm exporting footage from my camera, I will be reading. If I am boiling the kettle to make a cup of tea, have a read, and that kind of thing. I just find it helpful to kind of like find little bits of your day where you're doing something else. And that also is helpful if you have an audiobook as well, because audiobooks you can do maybe while you're driving somewhere. I don't drive, so that doesn't really help me, but if I was driving, maybe I'd listen to an audiobook, or if I was just like walking from one place to another, I might listen to some, or while I was doing housework. Finding time to maybe read other types of books as well is a really helpful thing to do, because it means that you're still reading but you're able to still do your normal like life tasks as well. The next thing that I think really helps when trying to read more is actually buddy reading. I've actually only just been introduced to buddy reads this year, since I think I did my first one in June, and I've really enjoyed it. And it really helps when you know that somebody else is reading the same book at the same time as you, because it means that you're motivated to keep reading and keep up with each other, which I think really helps and is a great way to do that. I've actually even buddy read a book with my boyfriend this year, which has been amazing. But again, it's a way of kind of doing things together, and it also is something that means that you read more, I think. And then the final thing for me, which again is something that might not help everybody, but it helps me, is TBR videos, which obviously if you don't make YouTube videos, you could just do a general TBR and write a list of the books that you want to read that month, because I find if I see a list of books that I'm wanting to read and I know that I haven't got through them, it will make me read faster or more in order to get to more books, and I find that that really helps me personally. So that's why I've started this year really doing TBR videos every single month. So there you are guys, that is my how to read more video. I hope that you're enjoying Vlogmas so far. I'm really enjoying making them. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Press the little notification bell to be notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you tomorrow at 5 PM. Bye guys!
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish